Dave and Buster's, and then we went to Cheesecake Factory at the end.
Not
I
bad.
think I'm reaping the repercussions still of the food I ate yesterday. And
I
then
don't
today I
want to know
spent.
about that. As you can see, I'm eating a watermelon, so I'm okay. All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. How y'all doing, guys? Geek gods, the lovelies. So, here's the thing. We did the podcast on Friday night, like we should, and how we said it, and Twitch was being an a-hole, so I couldn't. Apparently, the broadcast never finished, so it was ongoing. And when I turned on my computer and then I saw what the thing was on Twitch, it was still broadcasting, so I couldn't end it because I was already done with it. So it was weird. So I had to basically delete the the video, and that was the only way to finish that broadcast. Now I could start a new broadcast, but I could not. Apparently, that other broadcast was still working, still playing. So it is what it is. So today is Sunday night, and we finally are getting to talk. So we're going to talk about everything that we talked about before, and maybe even some other tangents that we got into, or maybe we'll just get another conversation because that podcast was really, really good. It's like the unknown podcast, the secret podcast files, secret
Also, fun
files.
fact: Jose was wearing the exact same thing he was wearing that day,
Yeah. So
as if
as you
never
can
changed.
as you can tell, I'm wearing the same thing. If you were there,
The same
uh.
green background and everything.
Same green. I have to keep it, 100%. I have to go back to my element. Everything. All right. Plus, I only wear this at night when I go to sleep because, I mean, that's it. I literally, I just wake up and go back to work. Then I come back, take a shower, and then I put this on. So it basically doesn't smell because I have my AC on when it's hot. Anyways, I'm going with that. So let's get into it. So we're going to talk about Loki, the episode that passed this week, and then we're also going to talk about
Superman and
um
Lois, and then
Superman and Lois and the Reign of Superman, our favorite actors that have portrayed the Man of Steel. Now let's get into Loki. Loki, dude, Jesus Christ! All right, so the ending of it was amazing. Everything that they talked about, we know now that everybody that's working for the TVA are variants. Now there was two things that I did. One on TikTok which was at the end of the episode of the first episode, or no, I'm sorry. When he gets the thing to put him, the necklace brace that he has, there's a tool device that can basically reset him back to where he was a few seconds later. That's what Owen Wilson's character was doing. So he does that a couple times, and he ends up back at the same entrance that he was when he first arrived, and we see a character at the end, which is a lady that has the same hairstyle and blue dress as Agent Carter, or blue suit, Agent Carter.
yeah,
And so everybody assumed that she was in the show, or going to be possibly in the show, or just an Easter egg. Now I was thinking, if that happens and all the variants have become TVA agents, what if we see Agent Carter become one of these TVA agents later on in the Loki series that might most likely might get him arrested again to be working for the TVA or some sort, or something like that, or she figures it out before Loki and then just like comes out all of a sudden of the thing. So that looks really, really cool. I think that was a good little we might see that, we might not. It's just a possibility of a theory. And also we were talking about that night, the staff that the TVA agents use on people and they look like they disintegrate. What happens to them? Where do
yeah.
they
We were,
go?
yeah. There was a. We ended up saying, what if they get they get reset, and then they go back to like the person they used to be? Do they die, or they just disappear and then come back? Another is the variant version ends up coming back, and then he's back as a soldier somewhere at part of TVA. It's never been. It wasn't talked about or mentioned of what happens to whoever gets hit by that baton, whatever TVA baton.
Yeah, so we don't know what happens. There was a what's it called? There was a character in the beginning where he doesn't want to take the ticket. When
Yeah.
he stands in line, and then the TV starts playing, and says, "Who are we? Why are you here?" Basically, and at the end, the guy in the booth says, "Do you have a ticket?" He says, "No, I don't." And so then he gets hit with the staff and gets disintegrated. So I assumed maybe because of that he becomes one of the TVA agents later on or something like that, or or he just gets erased from time. I don't really know. That can possibly be an answer question maybe within the next two episodes. I don't know. I don't know if that will ever get answered. I hope that it does. We just don't know.
I from the looks of it, I feel like they're being, it's like the people at TVA, I think, are held on to their past life. They just don't know. Like, for example, like when you're talking about the skis, Owen Wilson love for skiing, but he just says he never done it before. But the idea that maybe that's the humanity that he's holding on to, because that's who he used to be when he before he became a TVA. Like, there's little things, maybe even that officer that she has her own office, that she had the pen with Theodore Roosevelt. Maybe that's something part of her past as well. There's, but there's a lot of things in her office that she was holding on to that's from her past, which is, or from somebody's past. So maybe there is a past that she once had. Because, like I said, in the middle of it, they did say that all of them are variants. But then also, we don't know if they are particular, which are actual human variants, or if there's actually other people that are done or from the TVA. But I don't know, because she did say Sylvie did say that she was a everybody's a variant. What's going on? What's going on, buddy?
Hello.
There you go.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My settings are just messed up. Um, so there was a thing. Oh yeah, so I talked about how like it's funny how they're all the TVA agents look to be human. None of them look to be creatures or any some sort of like aliens. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of weird. So it's like, is it just from Earth? I like, well, what are we trying to get at, or is it just because like too expensive to have all these other aliens as TVA agents or something like that? Or is that a thing? And then that's why Kang the Conqueror basically just because he's basically human or somewhat, uh, you know, just gets humans as TVA, and it's just easy for them to wipe out the memories. I don't know. That's maybe another thing that it can answer later on. So those are the two questions. The second one again, it's not really important, but I just wanted to point that out.
Because thinking about it, if Khan the Conqueror is from the future, what if he ended up using the quantum realm and then used the quantum realm, and from, because he's supposedly he's the main villain in Ant-Man and the Quantum Mania, and he uses the quantum realm and then he uses it in his future, or uses it as to build the TVA, supposedly because they were the ones who built the TVA, the so-called, like Loki calls them, the space lizards, and which they don't see it as where it came from, where the TVA is just, it was created and it's a world that's was done by these particular aliens, one of them being Khan the Conqueror. And what if that was technology that he ended up stealing from Ant-Man? Well, not the old one. Not Scott Lang. What's the other guy?
Hank Pym.
Hank Pym. and took his technology and used it and advanced it even more and built an entire world inside the quantum realm.
Well, there was a thing. I think it was the second movie, uh, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and when he's in the realm, there's a small little city that we see when he's in it.
Yeah.
It's like to the right. So I was thinking, like, what if that was a TVA? They're all so little small, but when they come out of it in that little panel, they
Yeah.
become back to
Exactly. They don't know how
because
they look in their and since is their world, they probably think everything is just this is how it looks.
right, because every like when we're seeing everything, it looks like a huge ass like realm, but it's also
Yeah.
like a like an office building, but like just like it's weird. It's weird how it is because
It's like
It's enclosed, but it's also like offices full of offices and like some like
it's like that that ending scene in Men in Black when he comes on and says you haven't seen anything yet, and then when he opens the locker, there are you know they're like little people and they're like giants passing by through the locker,
yeah yeah
like the end
yeah
of
yeah
Men in Black, the first Men in Black, when he opens up and it's a whole new universe in the other side. Just that idea that maybe that's what that is. It's just a different universe inside another realm. And I mean, there's about 1 billion realms anyway. We got the all the realms that exist in Norse mythology. Then the idea that that's where that is. It's a different world, and Hank Pym's wife actually made it alive, and it's probably because of that reason. I guess who knows? Maybe she knows something at some point. I
yeah.
wouldn't be
I don't
surprised.
know. Yeah, there's a
Let's
possibility we might even see somebody from another MCU movie.
let's see. Let's see.
Possibly. I think on Twitter today, I literally saw something about Doctor Strange being put into the Wanda Vision show in the end credit scenes. So we got to take a look at that.
They said that there's from the old scenes to the new scenes, something changed in the part at the end credit scene. They said the trees were like they included extra to it. Yeah, I gotta check it out to like really see what the guy was talking about, because
Okay.
that whatever that is, they said that Loki might have changed the multiverse. Imagine we don't
Oh.
see. Imagine what if Loki did change a lot parts of the multiverse and all the films start to change
So
slightly in a
while it's
different way.
going, and Kevin Feige's like, "Hey, tweets out, go see Iron Man in Disney Plus. There's something added.
Yeah.
Hey, go to Black Panther in minute 22. You're fucking your minds are gonna be blown. Like
Yeah.
that's something like that would be freaking amazing.
I mean,
See Thor's
I want
hammer
to
in
see
like the
what his
background.
plan is. I do want to see what Kevin Feige's plan is. He did say that he wanted to, build it was going to change. Loki was going to change like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was going to be like there was going to be a lot of repercussions, and because of that show. Now let's see what happens.
Yeah, I want to see what happens. I want to see that thing on WandaVision. We'll talk about it next week if that's a true thing. If that's not a true thing, then sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of research that needs to be done to see if there
Yeah.
was any changes
Um.
or alterations.
Oh, hold up. Stand by for 1 second.
All right.
So I was talking to Thurman. If you're listening, Thurman, which I know you are, he recommended a movie. Now I want to talk about the scene first. So in the scene, at the ending of the episode Loki, it's an ongoing scene, and the camera does not stop. It keeps on rolling. It panels off. It goes back. We see the whole sequence of the commotion that's going on, and is the rocket going to go? And like, uh, are they going to be the saviors? Are they not? They have a few seconds, a minute, and then it's a few seconds and whatnot. and they're fighting the guards, and then they're not because they're seeing that it's the end of the world and the end of the time and all the apocalypse and the annihilation's going on. But anyways, the camera doesn't stop, right? There's no stopping editing to edit. It doesn't cut
Yeah.
off or anything. It just follows the characters throughout the whole thing. And it reminded me of it reminded me of the Daredevil scenes when he's fighting off in the hallways and in the staircase and even in the Defenders and even in the prison that we talked about that night too.
Yeah.
So and it was beautifully done, and it's all like in one go. You see the characters like breathing, stopping for air, and it's all this thing that like you're just going through with them, and then and then it ends a cold ending. And I love cold endings. I'm not gonna lie, especially to a show because you're just like, wait, what? I want more. That keeps you. It's an ongoing thing, and I like that. Anyways, and then I got recommended by another at work. They were talking about 1917, which was not a Christopher Nolan movie, which we found out on Friday. My voice
Yeah.
broke. It was a Sam
Sam
Sam Beck
Mendes. No, no, not Sam Mendes. That's a singer.
Sam something Sam Baker Sam 1917. It was Sam something. Yeah, Sam Mendes,
Okay.
but with the S, not with the Z.
Okay.
Anyways, and how that movie is an ongoing shot, not stopping thing for the whole movie, and it just follows the characters and all that stuff. It doesn't cut off to another angle. It just moves on slowly,
There's a
and it's the same thing with what's that other movie, Birdman, with Michael Keaton.
there's another movie that I reminded that I never mentioned on the last when we first aired this episode. uh the Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage. The entire opening sequence from the very beginning, it starts. The whole thing is like the camera's just following Nicolas Cage throughout the entire thing,
Right.
and it's like no edits whatsoever. The whole camera's just moving around, following him around in like different rooms, different areas. Then it's like a whole bunch of people are passing by. It's like the whole thing was done like straightforward, no stopping, no editing, no nothing. And if there was an edit, you wouldn't even be able to see it. But it was beautifully done. So if you ever get the chance to see Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage, it's right for the very beginning. You don't even have to see the whole film. They do that entire shot where it's like he's just being followed.
So Thurman recommended me to watch a movie, which I don't know if you have. But it's basically this guy. He's a ninja, and he's fighting like I think he said 400 samurais or ninjas. I'm sorry, ninja. No, samurais. Um, and it's an ongoing battle, and you could see it's kind of like Daredevil, where he gets, he has time to breathe and everything, and then he goes back into action, and then he's stopping. He's like taking a breath. Then he keeps going and everything, but it's an ongoing shot. It never stops, and it was I think the first, and it's 77 minutes long, ongoing. It doesn't stop. So
Yeah.
crazy to me. It's called Crazy Samurai, and I'm gonna butcher this last one. Musashi.
How old is that
Definitely
movie?
gonna watch it. I think it's on Amazon. I think he said, which I don't know, but it looks. I mean, I haven't, but the way he explained it, I was like, I kind of want to see that. Like that sounds pretty insane. I haven't really thought of a thing. I'd never heard about that movie, especially a samurai movie. But it came out in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, it's a fights for his life against 400 warriors.
Mm.
And I think he said that he forgets, he kills all of these guys, and he misses one. So that's the only time where the camera says, oh, stops, and then it says 5 years or 5 months later, and he goes
Yeah.
back to that one guy, he ends his life. It's all action and all that stuff. I don't know. I haven't seen that, but oh, it's on Amazon Prime, so definitely gonna see that soon. But yeah, that cold ending, everything was interesting. I like it. A lot of people didn't like it. Um,
I mean, if you think about it, that's how comics books are. They give you a to be continue, and like, holy crap, he's in the middle of a situation that he
yeah,
is not.
yeah,
Will he get out of this? Even we've been dealing with cold ending since what I have to say, Batman's Adam West and Burt Ward during that time. Will Batman and Robin ever make it out of here? And it's just
hmm
still that even Dragon Balls used to do that all the time. And we were
yeah,
wondering, like, they'll make it, but it's like, don't ask, they always ask that questions whether they're going to survive or not. But yeah, I like things like that because it keeps you at the edge of your seat because
yeah.
you feel like they're gonna make it out, and then the next episode is like, they're going to the next planet or whatever, or but you right there and then and there, it's like you could end the season in this moment right now, but this is the second episode. Like, the planet's destroyed. How did they get out? And remember, I told you that maybe he does the whole God of Mischief thing, and he just destroyed the freaking. It made it seem like it got destroyed in order for him to spend his time with Sylvie, to get to know her, to kind of get her to trust her. Because even in the end, it says, "Do will you trust me?" And it's like, and she ended up saying, "Yeah, I trust you." And then on that fight, they were battling and all that. The thing got destroyed, and I think he's gonna end up pulling it out and be like, "Yeah, it didn't break or something." Like,
Mm.
they're gonna make it out.
There were two things also that I just remembered that we talked about. So in the TikTok video I also made, uh, there was a scene, in the comments in the trailer for the first Loki trailer, and we all thought because the planet was purple, and we thought that it was Vormir that he goes back to because of all the time traveling that we were
Yeah.
thinking of, all the alternative timelines. And we see him talking to this girl that's also blonde. And everyone freaked out and said Natasha Romanoff, and everybody was like, oh my god. Now, given the circumstance of this episode and how the planet's purple and everything is purple, and the character that he talks to in this one, it's basically not it. Sylvie,
You
not
know,
Natasha.
just thinking about it now, they showed the promos that they actually have her get caught by the TVA. Now, what if, because of what Loki taught Mobius about, they're always hiding where there is an apocalypse? What if they pop up like right at the very like right at the very beginning of the episode and catches them,
Yeah, I could see that happening.
and
Oh,
I don't know.
there's a moment in the thing where they're talking, but it's all chaos. But there's like a white bright light, and they all like, and they're both turning to it. They're both facing each other, but they turn to it. So I think that's the TVA for possibly.
Hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if because I mean, they figured it out that that's the only way that they can't get caught or found, because if it's a world's gonna end, there's no interruption, no saying that there's a variant there's a variant there or whatever, because there's no
Um,
point that
yeah. And the
I
other
wouldn't be.
thing was
Yeah.
when they were talking in the train to each other, it kind of felt, they were talking to each other. It kind of felt like it was like whether it wanted to be friendly, whether they were trying to, I don't know, like kind of like when the both the masters in that one episode, Peter Capaldi's episode
Yeah, Missy and the
and
master. Yeah.
Master, like the crazy one with the four knocks,
Yeah.
how like it was like sometimes I just want to. But she's like, no, it's wrong. You know?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
like,
I like their
is
I
it
like their
wrong that I want to? Like, it kind of is. You dirty, dirty fuck.
I like their relationship. You can see like there's like vengeance behind her, but it seems like to from him, like he wants to take control of the TVA or whatever, but he doesn't seem like there's rage or any type of vengeance behind his, you know, like I don't know. I don't think he's gonna stay with that agenda, feeling that he needs to take control of the TVA. I think there's, you know, I don't know what it is because it's because we don't know what's going to happen in the near future to Loki. You know, nothing has been talked about whether or not he'll appear again as Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe of like in the Thor series, in the next Thor movie or whatever. So we don't know what's going to happen in his future because right
It's
now everything is totally
I
it
think he
kind
likes a
it
mystery. And the fact that he doesn't know especially what Sylvie knows
yeah
yet, it is a good mystery on his part and for him to figure out because he was so excited when he heard, oh, all the agents are all the TVA agents variants. He's like, wait,
yeah
what? But he told me that. It kind of makes sense. So he kind of like solves the puzzle a little bit.
yeah
He's a
yeah. It
detective
seems
that he
like
doesn't want to be, but he's becoming it.
yeah.
Detective
It doesn't
Loki.
seem he doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like that's any villainous. It seems like he wants to do something heroic behind that. Not,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, he
he
wants to take
want he
control of the
wants his
TVA.
death to mean something, especially with what he saw with Thanos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as if he wants to be remembered for doing something.
yeah,
You know, he's just died, and he like
I
not a
like that.
coward. It wasn't a coward stuff. He tried to save his brother, but
Right.
or save the world or whatever. But still, there was he couldn't because Thanos outsmarted him.
And with that being said, let's move on to something heroic. So this episode of Lois and Superman and Lois. Oh my god, it's so good. First off, we find out, and again, I'm so sorry, I was wrong. It was not Jor-El. It was not this synthetic kryptonite that the Kryptonians made in the comics, where he's basically an OP Kryptonian, what we call Super Saiyan Brawly. Um,
Mhm.
because he even kryptonite does not affect him. He has no Kryptonian DNA, but he was made by the Kryptonians. He's kind of like a Mazo. It's an Amazo Kryptonian. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
No, so
But
before you guys or fans try to get pissed off that you did not enjoy whatever happened because it felt like, oh, this is not Superman, this is not a lore, you have to think about it. This is what they consider the Arrowverse. This is a multiverse. This doesn't have to this doesn't even have to follow the Superman lore. So just, just it's just I feel like sometimes people don't enjoy certain shows because they feel like it's sort of like stepping onto the Superman lore, and it feels like I don't know if I should watch this. This doesn't feel like the Superman, universe that I was getting accustomed with to in the comics. But
well, that's
then
the
you
thing.
have to
Like
understand.
even Smallville was completely different from the comic.
No, yeah, seriously. The funny thing is that in some of the stories, some of it was changed due to Smallville. That some comics were kind of altered and made it seem like Luthor did have a friendship with Clark Kent. Like later on things were altered. It's like the idea that Harley Quinn came out in the cartoons first, and then later on she became popular in the comics, and then now she's just in movies, you know because of that, just because they wanted to add a female character to Joker, and then there she blew up, and now she's all over the place.
Again, we could go back to like even the X-Men movies where I just thought of, which is like Logan is not 5'3", 6'6" or 6'4", different
No,
type
no,
of
yeah, Hugh Jackman is freaking humongous.
oh, oh, that guy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
So they alter all this shit.
yeah, in the first X-Men movie, everybody had to wear platforms, so look taller next to Hugh Jackman. And still I feel like that didn't even work. Because they said the guy who plays Cyclops, Jean, and everybody was wearing high platform shoes to feel bigger and taller than Hugh Jackman.
Was Colossus there?
Not in the first one. Second one, yes.
But he was taller than Hugh.
No, yeah, he was pretty tall, which makes sense because he's supposed to be a big, huge Russian who didn't have a Russian accent in part two.
He was like 7 feet and just fucking brawling, like the size of my torso, brawling. The biceps were that brawling.
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
yeah, but there was a lot of changes in talking X-Men. There was a lot of things that I did enjoy and did not enjoy, and X-Men 3 Mutants United was one of the worst X-Men movies. And as much as people could talk about Dark Phoenix and everything and not enjoy some of the other ones, but I think Mutants
Well,
United was the worst.
watching Dark Phoenix, and then the third one, it's basically the same thing, maybe just a little different. But that's it.
Yeah, I felt like they
Did they even? Yeah, they even had the freaking antidote for mutant genes.
yeah, I think they went on they kind of Bryan Singer ended up having to sort of take the bits and pieces off that movie and then do something on its own and add an extra character in there
The
or
hell's the
whatever.
extra? You believe?
No, because I mean, yeah, they ended up adding some new X-Men characters. Plus, they created Jessica Chastain's character in Dark Phoenix, the one that she wanted to get the Phoenix for herself.
Forgot about that. Didn't I? Forgot about that. Um, Going back to Superman and Lois. How we got to X-Men. So especially that bad movie. Uh, you got to remind me what happened in that episode.
In which episode? The remember you didn't get to see the episode before it, so we decided to talk for both of the episodes that you. The first episode the one that we didn't talk about last time because you didn't see it was the one when Lana enters the machine that turns people to Kryptonian, gives them Kryptonian abilities, and the spirit of his mother came into her, which was pretty interesting, and it gave us a new, different lore in give us a different lore in from Krypton. The idea that people are sort of genetically put together to get married or to be together. Um, and then later on, she ended up with Jor-El, who she really was in love with. She was genetic. She was paired with and they had Kal-El, which is Superman's brother, and then she had him, and then later on she had Kal-El with Jor-El.
Right. It was kind of weird. That whole thing, but it's weird how Kryptonians thought of it. I mean, it's just
No,
weird as a relationship.
what was weird is the fact that how did they know that if she entered that machine that his mother was the one that was going to come out?
Well, I didn't think they knew that.
That's the thing. They didn't. They ended up using her as a guinea pig to try to
Right.
see if they could reverse the 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 Kryptonian powers by giving her Kryptonian powers and then seeing if they could take it away because she wanted to help her husband. But what happened is that she ended up getting the spirit of his
Or
mother.
yeah.
But they didn't explain how she ended up having the spirit of the mother, which
I think it was like the last conscious that they said. Like that was the
which says
last
a lot
conscious
that
in the
most of the
machine.
which means that everybody that was there was an evil freaking Kryptonian that was placed inside each person.
Probably kneeled before uh R-Ro was guy, father of Superman's supposedly brother. Um and I forgot what else. Oh, okay, so that's what happened, and then he uses uh the what's that crystal thing called? The Eradicator.
Yeah,
Eradicator, which was a play on like words with the reign of Superman and what happened after the death of Superman. And so he blasts that. He uses his solar flare, which they use in the comics. Blasts that, the consciousness of all the Kryptonians and the host disappear, and so then he flies to his fortress of solitude so he can regain his powers and stay away from everybody. Um, he goes after him, and the episode starts with giving us that Superman's origin. And first of all, A, you gotta love the suit, the old suit. B, I just remembered watching it to this morning. I did a TikTok video, by the way, where his mother makes him the suit, right? And
yeah,
then Lois and Clark, his mother makes him the suit.
yeah,
So that's a huge reference there. It was like, oh yeah, my mother made this suit. He does that with the kid, and he saves him.
yeah,
Um, he does the telephone thing that Christopher Reeve it does, and also in the comics, which is
yeah.
beautiful. And then the girl, once he steps out, he's like, "What happened?" And the girl's like, "Well, it was a guy that just flew like a bird, like a plane." Again, a lot
Yeah.
of homage to his character in the comics. Even in like the radio shows and in George Reeves' Superman show.
Even the cartoons that were done by Tex Avery as well, which
Oh
was the
yeah,
ones that was like, look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman, yes, a Superman, and then all of a sudden you see and it's a cartoon. I love that cartoon.
that was a nice. It's really done so good.
Yeah, and I felt like it felt like the classic cartoons from like when Disney used to make like Snow White, like their movements were very human. And then now it feels like everything is like less pages. Back then it was like they made sure like each page was like each movement. Now it's like they really like it's not the same anymore.
Right. Oh, it's a little more advanced now. Easier.
Yeah, like compared to the cartoons we see now, those cartoons were done like super well. I love those cartoons.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and I forgot what else. Oh, so then I also mentioned how in on Friday, so the man who has everything comic, and also the man who has everything in the Justice League animated episode, where basically Wonder Woman and Super and Batman go to the Fortress of Solitude to give Superman his present. Come to find out that there's a plant or I believe it's a plant that's on him, and in that plant gives him a dream, that a thing
Yeah,
that he always
it
wanted,
gives
a
any
secret
person
desire
that
that he always wanted.
anything that this a person desires.
So in the comic and even in the show, we see that he always wanted a life in Krypton and always wanted to figure out like what would he do? Would he be a father and everything? And he does get a kid in that sequence, but he also comes to find out that slowly but surely Krypton's coming to an end, and that's because not, I wouldn't say humanity, but the way that Superman is brought up, he knows that this is a fake world, because he's also getting call outs from Wonder Woman and Batman at that time, which was a really cool episode and a really good comic, one of the best comics that ever been out there. So in the episode of Superman and Lois, it's basically like that as a dream sequence, but we go through his origin of being a hero, finding out, going through the steps of love with Lois, becoming a boyfriend, husband, and then a father. That's when again his brother comes into play, and he gives up his good side to save his family in the end of the episode. Now, I really thought that was going to be the last episode of the series. I was wrong. There's 15 episodes of the series. It's so good. Can't wait for the next one. You have anything else to add, dude?
I'm a, my having a brain fart and not being able to tell you what's the name of this freaking plant. This is what I'm looking for.
Oh,
I know it's called black something. I just trying to figure out what the hell. Mongols there, alien looking organism. It popped up even in a Supergirl episode, which was called "The Woman Who Has Everything."
oh wow. So does she have a
So
life in Krypton
the
too?
girl who has everything. Yeah, she
What?
experiences the same thing. She's back in Krypton and she's having this weird dream and she's trying to figure out what you like what's going on. But later on she starts trying to figure things out, you know, and what's happening. And eventually she wakes up from it and they destroy it. The plant.
Now, I really like this episode a lot because A, it paid tribute a lot to Christopher Reeve's Superman. B, you can see his origin and the way he falls in love and the chemistry that they both have. Tyler and oh my god, I forgot her freaking name. The actress that plays Lois. It's so done well. It feels so genuine. It feels like there's love there. It actually feels like they're portraying the characters so well from the comics, straight from the comics. And I also noticed her wardrobe in the episode, in the first episode. I mean, the first scene. She's wearing a black little vest with the lines.
Yeah.
I remember Lois from Superman Returns having the same thing.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
don't think her
realize that.
hair's done well, the same because she has straight hair in that one.
Yeah.
'Cause in the Superman Returns, she has curly hair.
Yeah, it's
But
curly
she's
hair.
wearing the same exact thing, and I think it's a skirt too, because it's white. It's a white top with the vest on, but striped straight down, like a
Yeah.
little golden or something. Yeah, I don't know why I paid attention to that, but yeah,
It was good because the crazy thing is that this is very different compared to how many times we've seen Lois fall for Superman, but see no interest in Clark. But here it was reversed. She was more like suspicious about Superman, but she well, only a few dates she already fell in love with Clark Kent. And that's cool because it's like it makes sense because the idea that to be in love with a man that it's difficult to touch, because he's like godlike abilities and he does all these things. So that idea that it's better, that she loved the human, like not knowing, but she loved the human person makes more sense because it's the only person that she can touch and understand and kind of feel because it's like Clark doesn't show godlike abilities. He's just a regular average Joe to her, you know. But to Superman, it's like, it's not, it's like, I don't know. It's a little bit, he has all these abilities, and it's like, I don't know. It's like how the world view damn Superman was viewed by everyone in Man of Steel,
right,
you know.
right. She fell in love with the human side, not the godlike powered guy. But you could feel the difference when he noticed that, when he heard that with her talking
Yeah,
with her friend. It's like, oh, damn, I really thought she liked Superman more than she liked Clark Kent.
yeah.
And so he took it a step back and then said, all right, well, I'm gonna try this as Clark Kent now that he knows. I like that. Yeah, I didn't
They-
notice
They're
that.
both, they're both the same person, but you
Yeah,
do see the difference because
the way
he
he
has
acts.
to. It's like what is that? You ever seen Ocean's 11?
Yes.
When Brad Pitt is training Matt Damon to talk to this guy, and he's
Oh
telling
yeah, yeah.
you can't look, if you look down, you look too straight. Like if you look to his eyes, don't look for too long. Like you have to sort of become a character that you're forgettable, you know. But because Clark spent most of his time with Lois, there was a connection there. He was interested in helping her out and saving people's lives.
Right.
To everybody else, he's just some weirdo who was just getting clothes for this guy from the cleaners. And he was like talkative and tripping on things and doing stupid things. So it's like no one realizes who he is
Right.
because he's like he plays this buffoon, idiot, dumb-witted person. But once he wears the costume, it's like, did you see that? It's he's just untouchable. He's godlike. He's not even like no one. How can we touch this man who could do all these things? When
Yeah.
he's Clark, it's like no one really pays attention to who he is. And even in the comics, they try to make it seem that it was because of his glasses, or he had an ability to sort of give you a mirage of not knowing who he was, so that he was Superman. It's like I always felt like it was the glasses and hat. You was like, yeah, you never knew who he was. But a lot of times that lore got changed.
True. Yeah, I like that. Really good analysis on that love part. And then in the comics, and so they fall in love with a story that you mentioned that it was more different. It was like, okay, so yeah, everybody's talking about this Superman, but no one's talking about the more local thing that's more important. And he was like, yeah, you're right. I'm not this huge thing. We should care about the people, not about me.
Yeah.
And so it was more about this Nazi supremacist. And I pointed out that the signs were different. So in Marvel and MCU, they go with the Nazi symbol that we know as in the history, in the U.S. history, in all over the world history.
Yeah.
But in DC, it's always been those two thunderbolt
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like little
lines.
lightning bolts. Yeah,
Right.
those like little lightning bolts.
Yeah, he's a Nazi supremacist. Now in the comics, he actually fights some Nazis and also the Klan, KKK. So I like that they in put that as one of his first fighting, villains, to say the
Yeah.
least. It was like 1, 2, 3, he just finished him off. Well, actually, he didn't even finish him off. It was Lois that finished
Yeah.
him off. Yeah, which was funny. Um, and then you said something else, and I forgot what it was.
And what?
The episode. Oh, the rambling part where he rambles on because it's like
Oh
Christopher Reeve.
yeah, I love that because it reminded me of Christopher Reeve's rambling when he used to come out. Like, what was it when he used the word swell in the
Yeah,
first one?
swell. Nobody
And
uses
it's
that word.
yeah. What was it? Yeah, but even like the first appearance of Clark Kent, as soon as he enters the Daily Planet, he's just freaking rambles on about just nonsense. It's like
I
like
think it's because like you work here. Yeah, you always work here. Something like among the lines of working here. They
yeah.
would know
So
that.
it's that thing. It felt like even in when when Tyler Hoechlin's character first appears in the episode of Supergirl, he does the rambling on the phone. Like right away, you were like, right away, like that's definitely Clark right there. But the Christopher Reeve Clark that we know, that just rambles on instead of straightforward just telling you something, it's just like he has to tell you the entire story that he's experienced, you know, and and Christopher Reeves does that. So it felt like that was a huge homage to his character, you know, and that makes him that makes him different, and it also separates this man from the Superman from the man.
He's yeah. I want to do a comparison video now of like Tyler and Christopher Reeve about the difference. No, both Clark Kent. Actually, oh, you just made me think of a video. Good shit.
Yeah, like you could even add the Superman All Stars cartoon. How weird he was. Like he
Oh
was always
yeah,
hunched.
it
He
was
had
always
like a
hunch
baggy suit, and he was just like walking around. Even the scene when he went to go interview Lex Luthor, and
in the prison.
yeah, in the prison, and he tripped on the cables and a whole bunch of stuff because he was trying to prevent him from, I think, getting electrocuted or something. That it was about
Yeah,
to something was about to happen, and he tripped on the freaking cable, and something happened. But throughout the whole thing, he was just knocking things down because he was trying to prevent Parasite from going after Lex.
yeah.
So the
No, no,
whole
it
thing,
was he. It wasn't him. It was himself too.
yeah, because Parasite was sensing him. He was sensing somebody powerful.
Yeah,
So he was trying to like avoid from getting caught, and everybody would be like, why is he going after him? So it was like literally, he was like
it made
pretty
it seem
much
like he was going after
tripping
Lex.
and
Yeah,
knocking himself down throughout the entire thing to get, for what, try not
it's
to get
such a
caught.
good movie and a great comic. Oh my god, have you read the comics?
Yeah. It's I actually like that
Fucking teared up. I was like, God
you
damn
know
it! And the
I like
whole
that
that
Superman, that
image that they
separation.
made where he's working on the sun, so beautiful. Right at the end of the movie, they ain't even in the comic.
It's crazy how we spend most of the we've seen the whole story of Batman, of how he becomes Batman and training and his parents dying. But when we get Superman, it they alter the change in his they alter that. We know he lands on the planet, he's been taken care of, but when he starts to become an adult, they start changing that. They start showing like he has technology in the Fortress of Solitude. He's a very smart man. He's actually, he's learned a lot of like science due to his father and all the information that he's gained and things like that. So it's like it's like in movies we never get the Superman that we don't often get the full Superman, just like we never get the full Batman. We get the Batman that knows how to fight and hides in the darkness and everybody's scared of, but we never get the detective. The intellect, the genius that's able to like mix chemicals up and try to figure things out. We got a little bit of that in the Tim Burton movie when he used the chemicals to make the Joker everybody laugh, but the toxic, and then he used chemicals to try to you know
Find
to
an
get people, yeah,
antidote or agent.
the antidote, yeah, which was like lipstick or some other stuff, which
Something
was,
like
I don't know what that was. But yeah, we never get a the full, like the definitive version of Superman. We normally get him in cartoons, but we never really get him like in the movies, which is, I think it would be difficult. Making a TV show is a lot easier to give you the whole Superman.
yeah. Um. Yeah, I just can't wait for this next episode.
Yeah,
I want
because
to see the
now
season
it
finale.
seems like they're gonna get John Henry Irons.
I want to see him in the suit. What if we get them in the suit?
Wait,
Like,
here's the thing. Now thinking about it, the promo showed John Diggle. Did he call John Henry or did he call John Diggle?
no, because she called a John. You're right. Everything is going to happen. Dead. I was thinking John.
Well, that's true, but remember they also fought the evil Superman in the multiverse. So let's see. But yeah, they showed Diggle. So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. It's getting good. Hope they don't mess it up. I hope they don't change the way that they shoot. They shoot this episode. I hope it doesn't go to full screen and then it comes all dramatized like CW does with like the Flash and Green Arrow. Which I mean, I
Imagine
did
if
like season 1, 2, and 3 of Arrow, but it's just after that it just kind of fell off. Too much felicity.
hmm, what if John will be the one that goes to fight against his father.
What do you mean?
I mean, he's having his Kryptonian abilities are popping up. What
Uh,
if he's the one that ends up going after him? Because I mean, I think probably in order to save him, he would probably need to go to the Fortress of Solitude, because where he's at right now, it's Tal Rose, his fortress, and that's how he ends up going full, evil.
I'm thinking because Jonathan doesn't have powers that he does that, and somehow like how like what's it called? In the second movie of Christopher Reeve. I don't know why my nose is so itchy. In the second movie of Christopher Reeve, where they lose their powers, but
Yeah.
he's still in that case. What if like that happens, but his powers, his brother, his powers transfer over to Jonathan without him knowing?
Mm.
I mean, they could do that. I don't know how they would do that, but they could do that. And then now they have two Superboys. But I
Hmm.
don't know if they want to give him powers yet, or they want to give him his full powers to Jordan, and then later on somehow figure out Jonathan, because he can't really control them, but then he kind of does. He again, it's like in the comics because Jonathan sometimes has his powers, sometimes don't. It depends on like
Yeah, it
his
go
will,
it
I
goes
guess,
in and
right?
out. Yeah, it goes in and out.
Yeah.
I
So
understand, but yeah,
it depends on how they want to do that, right?
let's see, because this is a. I mean, you could see like that he will want to fight back. He's he. It felt more like uh uh uh, uh Connor at that moment when he ended up going ready to laser him after like that rage that Connor has. Like he has the similarities like of John and Connor from the comics, like that
Yeah,
anger that
I
Connor
think that's
has.
what they want to do.
Yeah, and John's way of like little by little, like his abilities, whether he doesn't know he's like his human and in his Kryptonian side, they're both kind of battling it out and in all these things. So
John Jordan Connor Kent. No, it doesn't sound.
hmm. Let's see.
Oh, well, good. All right. Well, it's time to talk about our favorite Superman. Now we have
Man,
not made a list, but we talked about it that day, and I still remember my list. Do you remember your list?
yeah,
All
I
right.
only
What's
have
your number?
three.
What? What?
I only have three.
Oh, what is it?
I
What
don't.
are
Yeah,
they?
I don't think we could put them in lists.
No, but we
There's
could
too
rank them
many of them.
together if
There's
you
too
want to.
many of them. It's like comparing Batman's. I think the way we used to see it is just the way what Superman's I feel that we feel like are in our maybe on our top three, because having a top 4 or 5 or 10 is gonna go on forever
Right.
and a lot to explain. And it's
Right.
very difficult because I feel like some of them actually, whether someone's here or down here, some of them might end up sort of, you know,
On
at the
par.
same time. Like I feel like they're both at that same level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I feel like we should just do a top three of our Supermans, and then maybe we'll bring up the how their relationships with their Loises are, or bring it out because they're very different, and we kind of love them in every single in every different way because there's different versions of
So my number one, going on with the with what you said, will always have to be Christopher Reeve Superman.
them. Yeah. I say my number one is Christopher Reeves as well.
Yeah, agree. I mean,
As
come on, if you haven't seen 1978 Superman, what are you doing with yourself? Now, Quest for Peace.
you have 3 hours, which is funny because people could talk shit about how Justice League was 3 hours long, but the freaking Superman movie was 3 hours long back then. Well, an extended cut, because I'm pretty sure it's 3 hours long.
Well, I will say, like, even though, yeah, I have to give him his origin. The whole time where he's like with his family and then he goes to the Arctic. It takes so long
Yeah.
to just get to the point of like, okay, this is Superman. That was like Superboy in training.
Yeah.
Or boy in training, not even super. Because he wasn't
You know what
trained
was
yet.
cool? That we movies often have a way of always showing us that there's going to be a sequel by the end of the movie. Or sometimes they don't show us a sequel at all. But the fact that the very beginning of Superman, we knew there was going to be a sequel because and then it shows us Zod and it shows us Ursa and what was the other person's name?
I don't
Ugh,
remember.
can't remember. I know Ursa and Zod. And then just that comment alone at the end when he gets sent up to this phantom zone that he goes, he's gonna go after his heir. Right then alone, like, oh, we're gonna see Zod fight Clark or fight Superman at some point. We didn't know if it was there or he was gonna appear, but he ended up being in the sequel. So it, it's a great movie to watch. It's like in some moments since we know some of the lore we had to understand, but we got a lot of the lore in that one movie alone, and then they just went into the other films. So
You
it's
know
like
what's
there's
funny
no
is that
need to
Zack
add more.
Snyder did the same. In the beginning, we see Zod
Yeah,
and the whole fight thing.
you could actually you it's weird. You can actually have that. You could put them together and notice that could see that Zack Snyder took bits and pieces off that.
The thing was, he
We just
showed the
ended up
fight.
getting a little bit more.
Yeah, he showed the
Yeah,
fight and everything. He breaks out. He goes after Clark. Jor-El and everything. He fights them. Clark goes boom all the way to Earth.
yeah. The
No,
thing is
no,
that
wait, hold up. He that doesn't
Jor-El
happen.
didn't die in the Christopher Reeve Superman. He ended up they died together,
Yeah,
husband
they
and
died
wife,
together.
and they sent off the ship. So it was
Wait, so
like
how does he go
how
to
the comic
prison?
book was. In Man of Steel, he was killed.
No, no, no. How does he go to prison? He goes in prison in the beginning and then breaks out? No.
Who?
God. Man of Steel.
In Man of Steel, he's sent out to the Phantom Zone, and then somehow, what happens? I know he ends up getting
No,
out.
no, no. He fights them and then gets gets
Yeah, he starts killing the council. He starts killing the council.
but
Then he
he goes after Jor-El
yeah,
and then he goes and then the guards come in and like take him and then he gets into the
because they needed that skull.
right there you go. Okay, I was right.
Yeah, and he places it in Kal-El's jeans body, and then therefore he ends up getting arrested. He kills Jor-El. He ends up getting arrested, and then he's sent to the Phantom Zone.
You know, come to think about it, with all that DNA that is inside of him, wouldn't that mean that he's like a literal god though? Even though he's a Kryptonian and like already automatically gets his powers, but like the genes, like I guess the more genes you have, the more advanced you are.
Yeah, he carries the entire freaking. He carries the genes of many Kryptonians.
This is what I'm saying. So uh, technically, he's hell because he doesn't. I don't know. Like he should. There should be no fight with him and Zod like that. Should have
Yeah,
been like, okay, I'm just gonna punch you and you die. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he's too OP if he has all those genes.
I mean, it's the same. All the Kryptonians will have the same ability once they enter the Earth. It's
Right, right. But with
yeah.
all those genes that he has within him, I don't know. I don't know. Science. I don't know.
Yeah,
Freaking
I
cool.
know you're saying that he should be a little bit more powerful, more godlike, but
Yeah, he's
I
a
don't know.
fucking
It's
godlike.
like, you know, he'll just have the same abilities, but just
I guess
I
like
don't know.
more. I don't know.
I don't know. It-
I just work here. I don't know, dude.
mm, exactly. You know,
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Um. Okay, so number two. Who would you put as number two?
number two, I'll say Henry Cavill as number two. We didn't get to see a lot of the other Supermans that donned the cape, or we saw them on TV. But it's Brandon Routh. We were supposed to get another movie, but it was never made. And he was promised, which was kind of sad because he was promised that they were going to. Originally, when they were doing Superman Returns, they were talking about um Jude Law to, I think, to play Zod, to Zod to come back, and but he didn't he didn't take it. So it was like they had to go with the story that they went with. I
I
don't
could
think
see that happening.
Bryan Singer has had his heart in that film. I think he was more worried about what was happening with X-Men when we went back to that freaking movie, Mutants United. Because then Brett Ratner, he left that to do Superman Returns, and then Brett Ratner, who did all the Rush Hours, decided to do Mutants United, which sucked, by the way. But
I don't know why that was.
yeah, so the idea that we never got to see Brandon Routh at his full, but though we got to see him in Infinity Crisis, the in the episodes of Infinity Crisis that was on the CW, we got to see him in a suit again, and he still was able to portray that Superman from Superman Returns, which was, and he would look much bigger than he did in the in the Superman Returns. He looks much bigger.
Yeah, he was freaking huge in that one.
Yeah,
He got more ripped in that one. I
yeah,
was
he
like, God
bulked
damn,
up big
dude.
time.
How are you tall? How are you taller? How are you? How do you look bigger than Tyler though?
Oh yeah, he did. He was massive.
Dude's fuck. Whoa. Pause. Um. So yeah, that's
What was your
yeah.
second?
I would agree with you. Henry Cavill is he's up there, especially with like the Zack Snyder cut.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I felt like he redeemed himself after the Batman versus Superman fiasco. I felt like his Superman was redeemed in
Well, then again, like if you see the theatrical release from Batman and Superman, it was
yeah,
ass. But when you
yeah,
see the director's cut, it's so much better.
yeah. It's so much better, but again, I don't know. I love Henry Cavill, but yet again, we don't. I as I didn't feel that he embodied the what hope was. Still, I feel like that wasn't. He didn't embody the hope. The Matt, how do you say this? He didn't embody the hope that Christopher Reeve embodied. Like he was, I felt like he was hope. Like at some point he was gonna get that hope ring at the end of that suit. Like he, you felt like this was a man you could trust. And there's times where the thing is that Henry Cavill was saving lives, but he didn't. It didn't feel like he was approachable to like save your cat. You know,
Oh, okay.
or like he didn't feel approachable. There was
Okay.
always something daunting and something sad about him. Like he was like mourning most of the time. Like he was never that that Superman smile that Christopher Reeves would give you. Like you felt like when he smiled at you, it was like, I like this guy. I wanted to save my cat. Like Henry Cavill. I felt like, and now I was like, I think I need to be careful for my cat once he's
You
on
know, a
that
lot
tree.
of
I was like,
animes
I
with
don't know.
a lot of anime lovers would say that he had Christopher Reeve was the All Might, that he would always smile when he was saving life, or even when he was fighting somebody with like. Remember that scene? I think it was in the beginning when he after he saves Lois, he goes after he starts like patrolling Metropolis, and he
Yeah,
goes into a yacht where the bank robbers are there or something like that, and he gets hit by what's it called, the crowbar,
yeah,
but he just smiles it off. It's like, really, really, that's what you're gonna do?
yeah,
Even when the guy's suctioning onto the freaking building,
yeah,
and then he just looks at him, and he's like, hey, and he just falls off. And then he's like, ah, come on. And then he flies down. Like, that's so fucking funny.
yeah. It's the thing about like the difference, like Henry Cavill. Chris Reeves' Superman has always, it felt like the comic. He was, he it's he saved lives. He always smiled, and he always, he was always there to like people. It, it was like how Tyler Hoechlin is. Like that scene when he puts the car down and the kid says, "Cool suit." Is like, my mom made it for me, and he just flew away. That's like, he has like a kid's heart. He wants to, he's sort of like
He's genuine.
with
He's not
people,
too.
he wants to relate. Like he's just,
Yeah, I agree.
it's like the doctors. There's always,
Mm.
especially 11 showed it a lot more every time he was like this child.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
when
yeah.
he got serious, it was like, stay the fuck back. Like the man goes to war. The good man goes to war. Like, he was being silly and doing stupid stuff. But then when he got to her face, he would say, like, he came out and he was like, you don't want to know why a good man has these many rules. And that's, I feel like Superman was like that. Like there was moments where it's like, don't mess with me, because there's moments where I can't go, you know, above that, and you would see someone else. Like even Superman versus the Elite at the end. Um that rage he had when he thought Lois died and he freaking spin the entire world in it.
Mm-hmm.
And what other scenes? The Justice League scene when he's fighting Darkseid and he says, it was like I was always afraid how to use all my power. I was afraid that I was gonna kill somebody or hurt someone, but you can
But
take it.
you
I
goddamn
love
took
that
it.
scene.
Yeah.
And then he just hits him and everything just goes and he
Yeah.
just blasts them off. And it's like, you know, that Superman there, like I think, it's like the best. We get the best of both worlds with that. That Christopher Reeves, he had we sensed his anger at that scene, at the end scene, because he lost her. He was pissed, and
Yeah.
every time I see that, I literally tear up, because it's like every single time he was saving lives, even Brandon Routh's version of Superman was saving lives. I was like tearing up. Like it was like when he was flying out, the glass was breaking down from the building, and he was flying like on his back, and he was shooting it with his eyes, and he was like disintegrating the freaking glass before it hits the floor. Then he picks up the Daily Planet globe that from Alexis Ross piece that he did. That was like, I was like, that's like Superman right there, and lifting the entire kryptonite like island that was created.
Yeah, like even though that was a really bad idea, I really like that.
I did. It was, but I was thinking about it. Said how much sun did he absorb in order to be able to have that much power to lift something that could kill him? You know, so that was pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
And all and Bryan Singer, when he was thinking about doing a sequel to Superman Returns, he was talking about the possibility of making that island that was created by those crystals and creating a new Krypton. There was talk about that, but then I don't know
But
how
I
that
thought
would have
he
worked.
threw it in like space or towards
And
the
he also
sun.
said that Brainiac was going to be one of the villains. But even Zack Snyder said that Brainiac was going to be in the sequel as well to Man of Steel 2. Number 3.
As much as I love Tom Welling, he
You
didn't
know, to
have
say
that
this is
Clark
a blessing in
Kent.
disguise that our freaking recording, the old one, screwed up. But we'll
What?
talk about it later,
What?
afterwards, after we finish this recording.
Yeah.
Why I feel like it got screwed up, and it should have like stayed like it was like, oh, it got screwed up. Now he's not gonna say Tom Holland.
Oh, yeah. Imagine. No, I would have kept it. I would have kept it.
You would
Uh,
have been like, I did it again.
no, I like Tom Welling. But I don't think as much as he looked as the character and everything, he was Clark for a long time, and him being, not there yet, being wise, always finding himself. He didn't have that Clark Kent that we knew from Christopher Reeve or like straight from the comics. But he did have that type, like Henry Cavill kind of did have his Clark before he became Superman, before he had those two alter egos,
Yeah,
in a sense where it was just like, hmm, you know, he's
yeah.
always thinking like, hmm. But even Tyler, I guess, would do the same thing too, in the origin parts, because he
We're
didn't have
talking
the
about Tom
glasses.
Wellings, right? You talking about Tom Wellings?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's something that from the Man of Steel scene before his father died, and he's having the argument in the car about, oh, what was it? I think wanting to play football or something, or he was arguing with his dad, and then he said, "But you're not my father,"
right.
and he's having that argument, and for some strange reason, right there, it made me think of Tom Welling,
Me too.
like that argument alone about it felt like Tom Welling, Superman, so Tom Welling's Clark arguing with his father about, you know, having to have these abilities and not do anything because he doesn't want anybody to know who he is and he's trying to protect them. And we got that in Smallville. And in that little clip scene where before his father dies when they're in that car ride, I felt like that was Tom, like they took a piece of what Tom Welling, of scenes from Tom Welling, like that was just like inspiration. I felt like that was his
I
inspiration.
think
I
that was
doubt
the.
it was, but it felt like if it was Tom Welling, there would have been the same thing.
I think it was like when he had like that red kryptonite on him,
When he went
and
evil.
yeah, and he was talking to his father like, "Yeah, you're not my dad, so I don't care what you say." You know what I mean? Type
Yeah.
of vibe. But I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I would put him on tie with Tyler right now.
It's out of Oakland.
Yeah,
I do. It was funny when Christopher Reeves was talking about when he was before when talking about Smallville, he was talking about it's like, it's cool, it's great that we get to see a younger version of how he becomes Superman. This is the character that we never got to see. It was the character that the other actor was portraying, the young Clark Kent in the Superman movie with Christopher Reeves. Like we're getting to see his story now, and then he becomes Superman, which was really cool what Christopher Reeve said. It was like, oh, that's right. That does, we never got to see those pieces of what was happening in between. We got to see like his, having all this power and, not being able to, and it'd be daunting because it was like, I can't do anything with these things. I can't, I could do all this, but I can't use them because either I hurt people or people will know my abilities and things like that. And we got that little bit from him, from those little scenes. Even the father, when he speeded up and he got there before the car got there, and it was like, "How did you get here, Clark?" And then the father says, you know, and it starts giving him the speech about his abilities and stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it's yeah, I see why you would put them in that same space, together, Tyler and Tom.
especially with what we seen in like even like that first episode of first time we see him in Supergirl, it felt so genuine, especially with like Clark. Like his Clark was really good. And we see him in his origin, and then this series, it's like it's really good because we didn't see him in the Daily Planet as much.
No.
We only saw him in the origin part
Mm-hmm.
because when he's out of the Daily Planet, he's more of like, you know,
Yeah.
especially around Lois.
Yeah. I think when he's in Smallville, he could be himself. When he's in Metropolis, he has to be, you know,
Hunchback a little bit, you know.
yeah. It's like in some days, he's like three people because he doesn't act like, because everybody has known him differently in I guess in Smallville. He didn't wear the glasses and stuff like that. But now that he's portraying this hero and he doesn't want to get recognized, now he has to be this other person, you know.
Again, Kryptonian lenses.
Yeah, yeah. I still find that weird. I was
It's
yeah,
it's been
maybe
mentioned
maybe
before, long before we were born.
I just thought it was this Kryptonian acting that could make him.
Well, he even said it like he changes his tone of voice because his Kryptonian tongues, whatever the fuck it's called, vocals, voice box.
Yeah,
Um. So what's your third? Because I don't think you had a third. You said your third.
I think I'm the same way as you. I We never really got a lot of Supermans, you know. And there's been many that portrayed Superman's voice even in the cartoons, because there was two actors that portrayed Superman's voice in the Justice League cartoon, and it was Tim Daly, and there was someone else. I just can't remember who that other person was.
Me neither.
So, but they sound almost alike, which
Yeah,
was
you could
great.
tell the difference. You could tell the
Yeah,
difference,
and
but
Tim Daly's son also played a voice of Superman. If you ever get to see, there was a sketch between Tim Daly and his son, and he starts telling him like, we need to do something because we need to train you. You're gonna be Superman soon, and there's people that you need to meet. And he said, who we need to meet? Then all of a sudden, Brandon Routh pops up out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, Dean Cain pops up out of nowhere.
George Newburn.
Yeah, there was two, because in I think he popped up when they did the reunion in Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You. I think he was the one that popped up. But Tim Daly was also doing Superman voices as well.
Oh wow, I didn't even know. Matt LeBlanc. I mean, not Matt LeBlanc. I'm sorry. Whoa.
Matt Boomer.
Matt Boomer
Yeah,
voiced him.
he was originally supposed to be for Superman Returns.
Wow, Christopher McDonald voiced him
Yeah.
in the Batman Beyond episodes
Oh,
when he has that gray and
yeah.
black
He
suit.
was much older. I would understand why they ended up having a different actor.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Like that, I didn't
Supermans were
know.
changed, but Kevin Conroy stayed as Batman.
Yeah, that's a given.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that those three, well, four actually, and then I guess like you would put the animated, and then Lois and Clark, Dean Kane. Listen, again, I would say this: first two seasons of Lois and Clark were really, 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 really good. The thing was, after season 3 and 4, I was just like, no. There was a part also, and I mentioned to you on Friday
Yeah.
that there was I saw the trailer again because I did a video on the best TV Superman, which you could find in our YouTube. That there was a small clip of Lois and Clark in Krypton sending off himself to Earth along with his mother Laura-El and his father Jor-El.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
I don't know. I mm,
And then I saw a clip of him having a black suit with uh blue S. Now I was thinking it was like the two Supermen, like the blue and
yeah.
red one that were like
Yeah.
electricity type of Superman. I don't know, but it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I
Lois and
do
Clark went crazy. I'll say that.
what I loved about the Lois and Clark is their relationship. Um
That's what they
was
did get
always
right.
fun to watch. It
Yeah.
was enjoyable, and just to see them doing their witty banter, not liking each other, but then being attracted to each other for something that they did, and her attraction to Superman, but not liking Clark. I always loved that, and it was fun because it was like a soap opera meets the DC universe. It was fun to watch them, do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
enjoyable.
I agree.
Perry White and uh, uh their Jimmy Olsen's characters, but it was fun to see them always, bumping heads, and knowing that, oh, they're gonna get together, and it's cool that they didn't always like each other.
Right.
But even that, when we ended up getting the Superman animated series, Lois was always eyeing on Superman, but they were always ganging up on each other on stuff. In
Yeah.
Clark and Superman
Yeah.
always like, there was always banter there, always like, what do you.
Yeah, there's a great scene I think in the first episode where he like flies in and then he like brings her to the Daily Planet. It's all nice and lovey dovey. So again, they got both of their characters right and the chemistry correct. Correct. Again, there was no we are Superman. It was always I do this, you do that. But there was always a really good chemistry between both of them.
Yeah,
Um,
she was her own hero, and I think
writing.
that was a great thing. Like, she didn't, it was times when it was she would ask for help, but there was, you know but she always put herself into danger to get the answers that she needed when she had to do her investigations. And times she used to get in over her head and do something stupid, and Superman was always there to save her. So it's very different here in Superman and Lois, because now that they're married, now it's like, honey, and it clicks the freaking uh pretty much the thing to call him in,
But it's
and
immediate
he
danger. It's
pops
not
up.
just yeah.
you
But
know.
it's immediate danger. It's not really like crazy danger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like she knows the situation. She will step up to the villain and tell them like it is, you know. It's like what was it? When Brainiac popped up in there was that cartoon, which was the episode with Matt Boomer, was the cartoon that Matt Boomer was in. And Brainiac shrunk Metropolis, and Lois was in the Daily Planet. And I think Brainiac ended up looking into the Daily Planet, and Lois is literally standing on the window, like pissed off, looking at him, and she gives him the finger. You know, yeah, it was. I forgot what was the name of it. I think I don't know.
Annihilation?
Was it? I'm not sure. I know
Unbound?
Brainiac attacked. Supergirl was there.
Was it Unbound?
Um, huh? I think it
Unbound?
was. Yeah,
Was Unbound?
Unbound. Yeah,
I saw it, but I don't remember it.
yeah. She ends up giving him the finger when she pops up into the screen. He looks at the screen at the window, and she gives him the finger. And I felt like that's like, though we never experienced the vulgar side of Lois, you know, it's still like, I'm not scared of you. You know, it's
Oh,
like she will step up towards your face and
right.
tell you like it is. It's not, you know, regardless of who the hell you are. She's done it to Lex. She's done it to other villains.
Yeah.
The other day, she's ballsy, and that's a good.
Ballsy, yeah.
And I felt like, yeah, that's a good match for Superman.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Agreed,
and plus they keep
100%.
each other grounded as well.
I agree with you 100%. Um, well, I guess with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think we should end the podcast here. So you can watch us live on Twitch. I hope it works. I'm gonna press the record button this time because I'm just gonna stream it, but I'm gonna press the record button. That way, in case that shit happens again, I will have it 100%. And then where was I going with this? Oh, you can watch us live on Twitch down below, Discord. Come talk to us. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Any episodes or requests that you want us to work on. Movies you think we should watch and talk about. Or you can find us on Twitter.
Especially
We're tweeting
movies.
more.
I like movies. Movies are fun to
Yeah, and we're
watch.
gonna watch that Crazy Samurai. So we might do a bonus episode. I don't know. Be a good thing. And then we'll YouTube. I'm doing a lot of superheroes mental health, and I'm putting it more on that. I did a best TV Superman. I kind of want to do. You know what I'm thinking of doing a small little documentary on YouTube about something like heroes,
Mm.
because that could add stuff, and that could just like paraphrase, or you could add to it too. You know, you could do your own voice, but I don't know what the topic is yet. So, that'll be like a year worth of things because we can collect here and there and make it into a little docu series. Oh, a docu series, that's always great. I like that for YouTube. 100%. I'll definitely do that. I really want to do that one day. That's a thing I want to do and work on. And you can find us on TikTok, Geek Mythos Pod. Again, our banners have been going on and back and forth throughout the whole video, so you can see that down below. Facebook, Geek Mythos Podcast, and we're on Twitch, which I already said, which is Geek Mythos Pod. Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Prime. No, Amazon Music and slash podcast. Yeah. Yeah. Or you can hit the link called Linktree Geek Mythos, and you shall see everywhere else we're on if you want to find us easier. That being said, have a good night or good evening. Yeah, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. We'll see you then. We'll see you next week, and stay safe. Bye, everybody.
Geek gods.